Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. It is Tim in the Woods. The Friday Ascension update, chat, reflections, confirmations of energy. Hope you've all had a beautiful week. And it was we had a very powerful lunar movement during the course of this week. It was Wednesday. I think the time was 12:15 in the afternoon, and or 13 minutes past 12, and the full moon entered its lunar eclipse, and it was in Sagittarius, and the energy felt really it's quite remarkable moving up to when the moon does this. It's almost like you are viewing your life or the reality around you through kind of like it's like an underwater lens. That's the only way to describe it. For at least 2 or 3 hours I was having kind of problems focusing on things and navigating my everyday tasks. And of course I was presenting the workshop with Yasmin that night as well. But by the time the afternoon came, the energy had settled down. The purpose for which that particular moon, with the energy that it was directing at, was very much calls for action at the moment, releasing anything that is kind of standing in our way from stepping onto our path to mastery and sovereignty and claiming our power, claiming our right. And during the workshop, Yasmin and I were talking about how many of us are being called into our higher roles now. And I know I've covered this like so many times over the last year or so, or maybe even the last year. It's almost like the roll call, the final roll call. If you can imagine if say for example you're on a military camp, and you get the bugle call in the morning and everyone lines up for the day's service. I kind of feel a little bit like it's like that at the moment. It's like the final bugle call. Everybody on your toes, get ready. It's action stations, everything's going off on planet Earth. Let's get into our roles and get busy. And leading up between, I can't believe it's nearly June. It's the end of May. As far as I know, this will be my final video in May. And by the time, oh no it won't, it'll be my meditation Monday. And then by the time we kind of get to the solstice, the energy window that is being created or has been created by this full moon will be incredibly powerful. And it's designed to do one thing, okay? I've talked about the distractions, I've talked about the things that we are being presented with, the attempts to divide our consciousness, the love that we have for each other, the unity that we have for each other, but also very importantly steer us away from our ascension pathway. That is the one thing at the moment that I think we should be looking at more so than anything else, are the attempts around us to guide us away from our chosen pathway. And as I've covered previously, it's usually fear or any method of distraction that we can use, and many of us will be aware now that the box of tricks is about to change. There's been lots and lots of focus on the particular matter in hand, the lockdowns, the pandemic, the global shutdowns and everything, but we all know and we all feel that the narrative is about to change. There's something else coming in. And of course, in order to capture our attention, to distract us and move us away from the kind of the mastery and the sovereignty that we're claiming for ourselves, it's got to be bigger, and it's got to be better, and it's got to be shinier, and it's got to be more, it's got to be just generally more distracting. So on your toes, basically, this is a term that I use myself very frequently. Be on your toes and be ready, because it's probably going to come from an angle that we aren't expecting. Like many of us now, we have fortified ourselves. We are energetically sound, confident, grounded, we are established, and we have support networks around us that are incredibly strong. They are unshakable networks. So in order to rattle those cages, to test us, it has to be at a different level. It has to come in at a different angle. I'm not going to say what it is, because I don't particularly know, but I've got feelings from the rumblings in the media that it might have something to do with extraterrestrials. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate too much of that. It's always better to be open, ready, fluid, and just expect the unexpected. That's the most interesting part about this ascension process. Many of us were moaning that we were bored. Between the cosmic moment in 2012 and 2019, we were starting to get a bit fidgety, weren't we? I know we were going through very intensive processes ourselves, but we were getting to the stage where we're kind of like asking, when are we going to see some change? We've ordered change. We've created this platform of very high frequency energy. Everybody's got their 12 chakras. The heart centers are globally have been triggered, and then the global navel chakra activated in February 2020, and here we are now. It's the most powerful movement of energy that I've witnessed I could possibly wish to witness on this planet. But we've now entered what we would call like I say, it's the clarion call. It's the final wake up. It's the high frequency shake up that requires everybody to kind of move from that previous state of illusion, that shut down, eyes on just, the limited reality, into a higher state. So the shake-up's going to be big. The energy's coming in a massive, and as we're still living in this kind of this scenario of polarity, whatever it is, there will always be a reflection. So big energies always call for big counter energies. So like we will witness this kind of almost seesawing between light and dark at the moment. So whatever it is, just I'm ready. You're ready. We're integrated. We have each other. We're grounded. We're strong. And so really, it's oh yeah, what date is it today? I think it's 20. I think Mercury retrograde starts tomorrow, doesn't it? We all look forward to that. We all love a bit of Mercury retrograde. Every single astrological movement that is occurring, be it something that we can predict in the heavens, or something that's not quite so predictable, it's not quite so quantifiable, like a download of light from the seven suns, or Archangel Michael, or Archangel Gabriel, or Archangel Zadkiel triggering a download of light, or sending their angels in to do a particular job. That tends to be a little bit more kind of off the cuff. It's planned, but it's more random. It's not like we can click on Google or go.go or whatever and actually see that it's an astrological lineup. A lot of these things are coming in very randomly. So the energy now is just going to go up and up and up until we hit the solstice. And it's doing one specific thing. It is removing the veils that are blocking the line of sight to truth in the camp, in the consciousnesses of those that have agreed to step into a fifth dimensional vibration, but are struggling to make that transition. They're right in the middle of this 4D window that we're in at the moment, 3D to 5D. For those of you that aren't quite familiar with the term, as we ascend, as this entire planet goes through the ascension process, it's very energetically, it's described as a move from 3D to 5D. The 4D bit in the middle is the messy transition period. It's a bit like getting spaghetti out of a bowl and straightening all of the pasta strings so that they face in the right direction. At the moment, it's a big messy bowl of spaghetti, but one by one, we're all collectively straightening out those strings so they all point in a straight line, and so that we move from one part of this energy to the other. but we're slap bang in the middle of it at the moment. We're the best, we're the best part of a decade in, and it is getting funky. It is getting messy, but we're all cool. We might not think we are, but we are. Okay, despite what is being bandied around in the media, not that I listen to it particularly, but you do hear it. It's particularly when somebody's been triggered about some information. That's generally when you tend to hear about it on social media. Someone that you know, someone that you love, somebody that perhaps you work with is so lit up by something that they've seen or been presented with that they post it. That's generally how our news is circulating at the moment. It's done via social media. It's done via either Facebook, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter. I've never been on Twitter, but apparently it's it's quite a minefield at the moment. So this is more than anything else at the moment. Most of you will very likely be being. I sense that there's a big field of us being pulled into almost committing to the service. I know a lot of us are it's almost like spiritual commitment phobic. It's like, well, if I commit to that, if I sign on the dotted line, if I sign my new Ascension contract, is everything around me going to change? And the answer to that is yes, it is. Okay, we've ordered change. Our life is about change. Our entire Ascension pathway is about expanding, evolving and growing from one phase to the next. And if you are surrounded by things that do not serve you, despite the fact that you may have grown you might have grown comfortable in those surroundings, you might be surviving nicely or getting on nicely. In this vibration, on this pathway, once we have agreed to go through those gateways, the things that are around you that do not serve you will fall away. Okay, so this is what this period is all about. It's about shaking off the things that are bogging us down, things that are unnecessary, the distractions in our lives that do not serve us and are ultimately creating a barrier between us and the goal for which we have incarnated for. Okay, now that goal is a collective goal. There's an individual goal where each of us have our map, our timeline, our soul agreements, the things that we have signed up for when we've come down here. But penultimately, we as a collective, a large and very, very powerful group of souls on this planet, have all agreed to ascend this planet collectively. Okay, this is what we're all working with each other for, side by side. And I remember Yasmin saying on Wednesday night, I thought it was very beautiful. It doesn't matter how you regard your particular role. It doesn't matter whether you are standing on a platform like I do, like many others do, and putting that information out there. The only reason why I'm doing this is because I started doing it before you guys did, or it's simply a matter of timing. Once you start doing it, if you choose to do so, then people will come to you to listen to your individual message, or you might have a job as a teacher or a healer or any other single role. It doesn't matter whether it's a prominent or particularly kind of visible role. Whatever you are doing, whatever your heart-centered contribution to this ascension process is, it is absolutely critical. Okay, because all of us fit together. Okay, we all fit together like this very intricate, and there's a lot of pieces to this jigsaw puzzle that is just, it's all meshing together at the moment. And of course, the more pieces of this jigsaw puzzle are in place, the more solid the foundation is, until eventually we can look at the final picture and go, yeah, that's exactly how it is designed to look. That's what the picture on the box looks like. So we're working very much towards that at the moment. So just I digress slightly, talking about this commitment sort of like phobia to the spiritual pathway. You will be called to sign your. It's probably one of the biggest soul contract / promotions that you'll be asked to sign, because some of us have already done it. Some of us are kind of like going in on a regular basis, signing our soul contracts in the halls of Amenti. Serapis Bay says thank you very much, place your hand on the golden parchment. All of your set soul agreements, they're set, but it's all of the subcontract. It's the bits, it's the smaller writing that many of us don't really like looking at or scrutinizing, that get changed on a regular basis. But there's a big switch over going on at the moment. This signing of soul contracts is the big one. It's the one that we've all been training for. It's the one that this lifetime prepared us for, and it's also the one that's going to jump us into the positions of mastery for which we've incarnated. So if you're feeling that push, if you're feeling that changes in the air, what's happening to me at the moment, you might be being guided to do something different, or you might be guided to be working upon yourself. A very popular one at the moment is just simply going in and regenerating. Okay, there's a lot of people who are kind of just ducking out, you know, spending time in nature, meditating, looking after themselves. Fasting is a good one. I've never tried it myself, but I'm noticing that a lot of people are kind of, it's almost short, sharp kind of purges of the physical, mental, emotional and the spiritual fields before stepping back out again. And it was lovely to see the response to how many people signed up for Commander Ashtar's destroyer training. I think he said I think he's got 1,500 new students on a soul level who've signed up, which is absolutely fantastic. That's 1,500 of us who, even with the most basic of training with this particular facet, will be bulletproof energy wise. It's, you know, we get a lot thrown at us on this planet, and we always have done. The difference is now we are learning to deal with it from a point where it's just another day on planet Earth, and we don't get knocked out of commission for 2 or 3 days. We don't have to spend hours kind of, you know, sorting through all the cords and the gunk in our solar plexus because we've been hit by a cloud of stuff that we weren't prepared for, or we weren't ready for, or we weren't grounded. And that's another thing which is going to be quite important, I believe, over the next month to 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so, is be very vigilant with our energy, be very vigilant with what we're taking in, what we're communicating with, what we absorb into our bodies and fields becomes our vibration. So, you know, the old saying, where attention goes, energy flows. That's a two-way thing. It's an exchange, it's a communication. So whatever you are engaged with will become your vibration, as within, so without. And that's, when you look at it like that, it becomes very simple as to why media drops your vibration, why fear-based stories drop your vibration, why that old chestnut of aiming high, aiming bright, you know, keep your vibration as angelic as possible, and that's where you stay. And that plateau, that observational point that many of us are striving for at the moment, is the key through this, because it gives us clarity, it gives us insight, and it gives us knowledge and wisdom that is not available in that field of fear. Okay, so there's going to be lots of opportunities to step up. But if you're getting that clarion call at the moment, or if the words about the soul contract rings any bells, then go into the halls of Amenti, talk to Serapis Bay or Anubis, and sign on the dotted line, basically, because it's the core, it's the reason why you're here. So yeah, it's just be prepared, okay, in a loving, grounded, strong way. But just more than anything else, like I'm finding myself like having to kind of remind myself or say to other people, this is an orchestrated happening, what is going on around us. It's not out of control. It's not some random happening. This ascension process is planned, and the only reason why there is chaos is because there is ego. Okay, the whole point of the chaos is to alert the heart that the ego is no longer in charge, and the ego has to let go of it. So all of this is all for a purpose, while our brothers and sisters around us on this planet are busy navigating from ego back to their heart again, which is the ultimate, that's our primary source. It's going to look shaky, it's going to look funky, and like I said, expect the unexpected, because I do feel that there is going to be something shiny and distracting coming out of the box of tricks very, very soon. Okay, now on the 1st of June I am going to be running a workshop, a solo workshop, to basically work with the heart for guidance and protection. Now this is a very simple but very, very effective way of just navigating our entire reality. It's a subject that I have covered before. I've covered it before in my Friday videos, and I've also done workshops that contain this content, but this will be specifically, it will be an hour devoted to using our hearts. And those of us that aren't used to using or almost functioning from the heart, this workshop will be very useful, because it's a switch of streams of energy. It's a switch of focus. Once you've made that switch, you'll never go back. Everything will function from the heart rather than from anywhere else. It will become the primary source of guidance. And yeah, I'm planning to do a destroyer training workshop, but the date isn't set. And on the 17th of the coming month of June, David S3 and I will be running the final in our series of 4 of the Beloved Archangel Speak. We will be working with Archangel Uriel and Archangel Metatron, and that one we're both incredibly excited about it. So I hope you all have a beautiful end to the week. Just keep your vibe high, your frequency clear, your manifestation sharp. Be ready expect the unexpected, but most of all, just remember that we are all here as a very, very powerful unit of light, and nothing is going to shake that. Nothing is going to knock that back into 3D. We're only going upwards, but the mess is necessary. Sending you all loads of love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.